Hey guys, it's Coach Conway. I wanted to share with you a couple of things from my book, Never Settle for Par. And this is in chapter 6 under the fundamentals, and we're talking about goal setting. And some of you guys out there are reading 12-week year right now, and it goes a lot into breaking the year into smaller parts. So we're going to talk a little bit about that right now. So first is knowing where you're at and checking in often enough to know when you're off track. So today is day 133 of 366. It's a leap year this year, so we got an extra day. So 133 of 366. So we're actually 43% through the year. Are you 43% of your way on attaining your goal? If you're in the mortgage business, like a lot of folks that I coach are out there, you may even want to be farther along than that because we have such a hot spring and earlier part of the year as refinancing. So, and when you are setting up your goals for the year, let's talk about some criteria. For first, we want to be aiming at some very specific targets. So in golf, we'll talk about aiming at, Bob Rotella will talk about locking your eyes on the smallest possible target. Bob Rotella is one of the best sports psychologists among PGA Tour players out there. One of the things that my college coach, Carl Richardson, told to me when I was playing golf at Eastern New Mexico is a trick. If we got to the course late, sometimes what we do is we walk the course backwards if we wouldn't have a chance to play a practice round. So, if we were playing a tournament on Friday and we got there Thursday evening, we didn't have a chance. The reason that is you're able to, when you walk the course backwards, work things in reverse. So your goal is obviously get to the hole. It's easier to see what you should be doing when you're working things in reverse. And that's a great tip when you're trying to figure out what you want to do with a volume in the sales career. So if you need to do $50 million worth of loans, let's look at what that would be like in a month. And let's look at be like that on a week. And you've got activity goals as well as result goals. And those are leading and lagging indicators. So your leading indicators are how much activity you're doing, and your lagging indicators are what the results are, like actually loan volume close. So you've heard the adage, the acronym before, making SMART goals, and I want to challenge you to make smarter goals. So what does SMART stand for? So SMART is specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-bound. Specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-bound. I add 2 more on there, okay? I put in executed as quickly as possible, in written. So I want smarter goals out there. And I'm going to walk you through why I think that's important. So specific, why do they need to be specific? Well, just as if you're visualizing the outcome you want to have of a particular shot, a vague visualization doesn't work. You need to be specific. As real as it can seem to you, makes it more likely to happen. Your mind does not know the difference between a vividly visualized imagination and the real thing. That's why you wake up in the middle of a nightmare with your heart pounding. Your mind really thinks that's happening because it's a vividly visualized. So you want a specific goal. You want it to be measurable. Why? Well, you don't know whether you hit it or not if it's not something that's been measured. It's got to be attainable. Don't set it too far out where it's not possible. Then you don't really feel like it's worth reaching for because you don't think you can reach it. But if it's not far enough out, you may not be stretching yourself far enough. And if you set too realistic of goals, then you left too much on the table, right? It needs to be relevant to what your core values are. Otherwise, when you actually get there and get it, you don't really feel like you've accomplished that much because it's not relevant to what your core values are. It needs to be time bound. You've got to have the time that you want to get this thing accomplished. Otherwise, there's no way that you're measuring it didn't matter if you didn't give yourself a time frame to get it done in. Execute it immediately. Why do I put that in there? I am a high S personality, and my coach, Tim Davis, tells me all the time, if you're coaching a high S, it needs to be all about action because they're wanting to procrastinate. I'm also high C, so I'm wanting to make things perfect. So it needs to be executed immediately. 85%, you're 85% more likely to get something that you want if you'll execute a plan to take action on it within the next 24 hours and written. Why is that important? So many of the goals that we have that don't get written down never get referred back to. So a Harvard study back, I don't know how long ago it's been, studied a group of kids that had graduated with, actually I think it was a Yale study. It's kind of like statistics. They're made up on the fly, right? but it studied a group of people that had written goals versus what didn't. And the people that had written goals were much, much more likely when they followed up with them to have achieved their goals. In fact, a couple of them they studied and really, really excelled up the high level. But people that didn't have written goals, you're kind of living a life of not being of not observing yourself, right? So if you're not really having a written goal, do you really, really have intentions of getting there at all? So hopefully this has helped you out a little bit on goal setting and some good stuff out there that you can follow up on. And if you need a copy of my book, you can check me out at neversettleforpar.com. You can use the number 4 or you can spell it out. Either one is going to get you there. It's Coach Conway. We'll talk to you soon.